So the new format today is we're gonna be doing Cappuccino's VOD. He's a plat main Ryan, I guess. But in here, I guess he's diamond. Maybe he's just still has the diamond logo. He's actually gonna come in a Discord call with me, so you're gonna hear him. I'm gonna try this because I want to see if maybe it helps him a little bit better. Also, he did request it, so I'm willing to try new things. Next question. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for taking the call and trying something new.
Yeah, no problem. I've no problem trying something new. All right, so low diamond main tank. Do you only play Rhyme through this whole video?
I can't remember. It's been
That's
a while.
fine.
Like, this video's really old now at this rate, but we'll find out, I guess.
Okay.
Just want a mercy?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Is this still in Mercy meta?
No, this is like 2 weeks ago, so no,
Oh.
Mercy's not good. Mercy sucks.
Oh boy. So hearing Mercy in general kind of just made me shake a little bit. I just saw a tab, but I don't see if there's
Maybe
another
you pee
one.
before you quick play.
I don't want to do that.
So just so you know, when you walk out of Dorado, first point, as you climb, people will always go for a fire strike in the beginning there. So try to bait it. Like, just like wait a split second, then come out, because you might give a ton of ult charge. But that's just a little thing. Well, that's not a good sign. Already so slow on the heels.
Wait for I can't get to.
So far, the biggest thing I've seen is you're already at 1,000 shield, and you haven't really needed to shield yourself other than the beginning. And when you were right here, right, you took the damage right here. So you stood here and just shielded, and if they were just farming you from up here, just shooting down on you, they'd obviously still hit your shield. You can just step back behind this piece of cover, and you wouldn't even have to shield. You could just stand there, you know, and use natural cover.
Right.
So you're using a lot of shield here, which is honestly the biggest critique of Reinhardt's, is knowing when to shield and when to not. So like what you're doing right here, this is actually good. Even if you're just like, if they're shooting at you, that's fine. Like, they're not going to kill you. That Hanzo would have to hit you with 3 E's, like 3 shots in a row to kill you.
I think, like, how do you know to trust your teammates? Like, I don't trust them not dying. That's why I'm using my shield a lot of the time. It's like, how do you balance that?
It's not an easy question. It really isn't. But, and I hate this tutorial thing on the bottom. This is new. This whole more videos.
Oh yeah, sorry. Oh, you can press the little X. Try to close that.
Nah, it's embedded in the video. It's not from you. It's from YouTube.
Oh, it's YouTube. Sorry.
It's not easy, but like looking at this damage boosted Hanzo, like a damage boosted Hanzo and Widow are the 2 people that can really one shot somebody in your team. They're like the 2 biggest threats, you know. But looking at how your team was already positioned from coming out of spawn, I'm pretty sure one of them dies here top right. So like here, right here, your Mercy's in front of you, right? Like if she's gonna die, she's gonna die here. It's like they're not really using your shield anyways. So it's like even if you stood here with your shield up, they're not gonna use it. So it's like they're so far behind you, you're not really helping them anyways. But that's not your fault, right?
Okay.
Because they're not gonna be with you anyways. So like you have like 500 HP here, you're fine. Like just start taking some swings. And this is the hard part of Dorado, is breaking through this choke, because you have to go really slow. And you're gonna need everybody. So if you lose one, you kind of have to back off and just start building ult charge. So
Yeah,
you
see how we just picked Mercy? Yeah.
But it's like you didn't drop shield this entire time.
What could I have done? Yeah.
Nothing. This isn't your job right here. Watch. Like if you could jump, right? Like let's say you could jump and hover, you would still not be able to save her. You get what I'm saying? So it's like the only way you end up really saving this Mercy, like in all honesty, is if you were Winston and you jump up there, but you're not. So the way you beat this is you have to call out to your team's Hanzo that he has to deal with their Hanzo on the high ground, right? Otherwise, you have to focus your attention this way towards their team, because I mean, I can't see with this shit in the way, so I'm just going to keep pausing and unpausing. But it's like your fire strike's coming off, cools down here in a second. You just want to keep building ult charge. And it's just like, you kind of got greedy right here with this one. You go for the Junkrat and the Reinhardt, and you get neither. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, getting the one on the Reinhardt every single time is just hit it every time. Like never, you shouldn't ever miss a Reinhardt with a Fire Strike, you know, because it's just like you can obviously dodge it as a Reinhardt, but at this close range, he shouldn't be able to. That 7% ult charge, you do that 2, 3, 4 times, you'll be beating him to shatter. And then once you have your shatter, you just step through here with your team, and you'll be good to go. All right. So right here, this Reinhardt comes all the way out. So you're backing off, right? But you don't need to. Like, you can just go full on. You go for the charge. I wouldn't do that, but I would go for just the walk up and start swinging them. Because, like, the charge is risky, right? So it's like, you're down a couple here, right? And they're coming out to go aggression on you. If this Reinhardt was any better and you do this charge, you're stopped right next to him. Like, look where you stopped, right? And he has support. If he had hit his charge right when you started doing that, he would charge you. And now you're losing the ult war and you're losing possibly your life. So charging is one of the things you only want to do it when you can do the 2 steps rule. The 2-step rule is you're going to hit him and where you're going to land, right? So it wasn't bad. You knew you were going to land close, right? Because if you would like, you know the Reinhardts who feed, right? They just charge off into no man's land. Yeah. Like, it's like, I got the pin. It's like, yeah, but that wasn't fucking worth it, dude. It's because then it's not part 2. So it's like, a part 2 here wasn't bad, you know? But your part 1 wasn't fantastic. And because of part 1 wasn't fantastic, even if you would hit the pin, right? Let's say you would hit this pin right here. Their Moira is right here to heal him right back up. So it's like, you would have got some ult charge, but it's like a calculated risk kind of thing, you know? So really just swinging his Reinhardt is honestly the best way to go. Just keep swinging. Oh, you get nanoed here. I don't think he has
Shatter.
Yeah, shatter.
Yeah,
you get the Moira. When a Reinhardt does this, right? And the only reason I'm going super in depth right here is because you're here with me, so I can kind of get feedback if I'm going too much. Yeah. If I'm going too much, tell me to slow down, right? So
it's all good.
When a Reinhardt does this, especially when you're nanoed, because he's going for the big play, right? It's always just thinking about, like, how would you react to him if you looked at a nanoed Reinhardt? When he misses this charge on him, I would have actually stepped in and gone after the Moira. Because you're still nanoed and she's right next to you. That's an easy kill. And she's healing the Rein. So you get it with the Fire Strike, but if you didn't hit her with the Fire Strike, the chances you actually got her were probably kind of small. Because she could have faded away. But these are like plat mistakes. Or plat and diamond mistakes that players are making, you know? So it's like, if they end up capitalizing and not making that mistake, it's going to make your life a little bit more difficult. You still would have won that battle, but let's say that it was a 6v6 and that just happened, it would be a much more high-value pick than maybe getting the Reinhardt with the swings. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's just target priority. Like, you want to target the healer in this case.
Yeah, so it's like, think of it this way. If a Reinhardt charges past you and you're nanoed, go for his team over going for him. Because his team is the more valuable. If he charges into your team, and it's 5v1 versus him, and it's you 5v1 versus their team, you're nanoed, he's not, he will die, you will survive. In most cases. It's a much higher calculated risk.
So on a related note, in like another scenario, like when Ryan's charge past you and they do a really bad charge into your team, should you just hold your shield up and like shield off 5 other enemies and let your team take care of Ryan?
No, swing on him.
Okay, so you would turn around and swing on him and not shield.
The only time I would shield is if their Ana was looking for a purple.
Oh, Ana.
And if you can catch the Ana, like there's a few different people you always want to be looking at as Ryan. You want to be, and I'm not kidding. It sounds kind of stupid, but you really don't want to be looking at their Ryan because he's so big. You shouldn't like. You should be able to see him like out of your peripherals, even if he's standing in front of you, right?
Right.
So the places I look for Ana in the back. Right, because she's hard to see, so you have to really look for her in most cases because the team's going to be grouped up. I look for Ana, and I look for the biggest damage dealer. So typically a Hanzo or a Sombra if she's with their team. I need to know where she's at all times. Doomfist, people like that. I always look for the highest value DPS player. I look for those 3 because the Ana has the sleep, which you can block very easily if you see it coming. But if she nails it and you don't see it coming, then you're screwed. The purple, which you can block super easily, but if you don't see it again coming, that wins a team fight. Both of those things are very preventable if you're looking at her. But if you lose her in the sauce, like she gets fucking, hidden in the back or somewhere, and you don't see her, and she nails that purple on your team, your Zarya only gets one bubble, right? And they might not even have it. And that one bubble is the only thing that they're going to be able to save. Other than that, you're screwed, pretty much. So that's number one. And then the reason I look at the Hanzo number two is because depending on where he's going, if he's standing in front of you staring at you, I will drop shield, let him pop his E, hit me with it once, and then put shield back up. Because he'll just dump the whole thing in the shield, and it's like, okay, you hit me for 200 HP, but I heal it back up, and you now don't have your cooldown, and my DPS can do better. But on the flip side of that is he could go for the flank or whatnot, and you're able to call that out and reposition a little bit better. So those are the biggest targets to be looking for. And of course, the Reinhardt right in front of you, you don't need to watch him, but of course, obviously pay attention to him, but it's not someone I look at in general.
Okay.
So during this, though, like this whole little fight right here is like, there was nobody that was going to kill your team. Right?
I'm wasting my shield.
Yeah, a lot of shield waste.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
I see the mentality on it. I won't say much for it. I see what you're going for. I see what you were going for. This was actually really good, though. This right here, your recovery is actually fantastic right here. Like, after this, when you start getting low, as many Reinhardts at this point have their Fire Strike on cooldown, is they will swing on this Hanzo or swing on the front or someone instead of keeping their shield up. You actually kept your shield up the whole time you were low, and that's actually the perfect move. Because
I learned it the hard way.
You get punished more and more often. Yeah. You'd be surprised, even if you get punished that often, people will still do it.
Ryan, I'm gonna ult you, okay?
Yeah.
Ryan, I'm gonna ult you. Yeah, I don't know about that one, but alright, we'll see how it goes. So you can actually take more space here during this, when you're walking up like this. Like, I know you were trying to push the cart, but, you know, you can really walk up here. You guys, you got 3 on. This is last fight. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but did you just hear something?
Charging Ryan?
Yeah. Where did we last see him, right? We last saw him here. So now you gotta start thinking to yourself, where did he go? Where could he have charged?
I assume.
Okay, he's left somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So he charges. So we don't know where he is. He's dealing with somebody. You know what this means right here? That's a free charge Reinhardt, because he doesn't have a counter charge. This is free as can be.
There's 3 on me. Oh, wow.
He actually blew his shatter, did absolutely nothing. But in a situation like that, when you hear Reinhardt no longer has his shatter and he doesn't have his Zarya with him, that's free 99. You take that pin every time. As long as it's not like you pin him to here. You get what I'm saying? Like, you'd want to pin him over here or to this wall that was back here. But knowing that he no longer has that on cooldown, knows he needs to rely on his team now to win. Also, I'm not sure why your Moira was hiding. That's kind of unfortunate. I want to see if there's something we could have done better than there.
Okay.
There's 3 on me. Oh, wow.
He straight up whiffed. Like, that's crazy.
Hey, keep on.
I think during this, I'd probably walk back towards your team a little bit more.
My positioning was bad. Yeah.
I wouldn't say it was bad. It was just the Hanzo. So you see him actually right here.
On the left.
He walks past you. So it's like, that's who I probably would have went on, because you would have, probably been able to kill him, because he uses his jump right here. You see him hop. And on top of that, too, you'd be working back towards your team. So, yeah, he just drops his E in your head. That sucks. Did he shatter the friendly coalescence?
Oh, he probably did that. That's what he did it on.
Yeah, that was the only thing he hit. But he didn't hit the Ana that was standing right next to him. That's the big miss. That fight should have still actually been won easily. So yeah, you gotta go. Yeah, you recognize it. Just keep swinging on it. Break the bubble. Nice, good. Unfortunately, though, you're still down. You just gotta get out of here. I'm not sure where you're going.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was lost for a second. I was like, wait, where'd I go?
You're kind of hanging out
back here. Like, this is not a place where a Rhine is usually.
Yeah. If you had shatter, this would be actually pretty nice flank. Okay, like this is gonna be a surprise to this Hanzo. Oh, that sucks.
I got blocked.
Okay, so let's see.
Oh, it's more vine, more vine, more vine.
So you know, at this point, a lot of people go Winston to contest the high ground, really, but Winston here is really powerful just for that. Like, even if you just knock this Hanzo off high ground, you're good. So you know this Rein doesn't have Shatter, right?
I got baited.
Yeah, that hurt. I never really Shatter a Reinhardt straight up like that unless you learn his pattern, right? So I haven't been like looking too much at this Reinhardt's pattern because
I thought he was gonna Fire Strike. That was just me.
Were you counting down?
I think so, because I saw him do a Fire Strike and then I was.
Let's see it. Where was his last Fire Strike? Nah, he hasn't Fire Strike in a while.
Oh yeah, I thought he was gonna Fire Strike there.
Baited you so hard.
I got baited.
So Reinhardt said like they really do have tendencies and patterns a lot of the time. So it's like a lot of Reinhardts do the drop shield, swing once, swing twice, shield. Drop shield, swing once, swing twice, put shield up. Drop shield, swing once, fire strike, put shield back up. Halfway through the game, if you start to realize where that pattern is, you'll get that free shatter when he does that, and it's scary because they're like, "What? Like, how?" And it's a huge momentum changer. So from the beginning, trying to pick up on a pattern is big. Unfortunately, you end up getting baited, so that kind of sucks. Yeah, you're gonna get fragged here. Oof. So yeah, this is probably the point where we go Winston, because you have a diva. Second point, Dorado, Winston kind of rules, just because you can knock people off both high grounds and play it slow.
Right.
And it's just like, if we think about like the last two fights, there hasn't been really much you're really able to do, like in terms of impact. So it's just like, you've been a lot of, you know, Fire Strike, Shield guy, for the most part.
Guys, let's go around right
But I think you stay with the Reinhardt because they have a Reinhardt.
Yeah.
Which isn't totally the move. You can make him useless.
That's why I'm saying let's go right.
So right here, we're like this whole sequence of events right here, this past like 10 seconds, like it's kind of useless, right here.
Yeah.
So it's like from here on, it's like we're not really doing anything. We're not taking any space. We're not getting any ult charge. We're just kind of like being a battery and just losing shield. So it's like your team's talking strategy, but it's like your team's talking strategy. You can't just sit there and listen to them just talk. Like you got to just make a play, and they will have to capitalize on it unless they've decided. So it's like they decide go right side, but there's already been 30 seconds wasted, if not more. Because we started at a minute 20, we started making like nothing. So it's already 30 seconds. Still haven't taken anything. So if they have any ults here, if they have a grab, this is over.
This is taking so long. Let's go.
Yeah, your Genji even just said it was taking too long.
He's grabbed.
So this is where Winston's good. It's like we didn't have to go for the long flank. And well, they had the grab.
We good.
Oh, you gotta get on him. So you're 500 HP right there, right?
Yeah.
It's like you realize up here like this is not a good spot to be in, so you gotta drop. So you get out of here. Fire Strike was a little risky, but right here, that Zarya's 1 HP. If you're able to push up and kill her right there, this might be a different fight. But she gets healed up instead.
Big kill. Hop on.
When you're bubbled, always swing. Just keep swinging while you're in the bubble.
Okay. Oh, I was scared of the shatter. I think that's why. Yeah, there we go.
And I played inside.
Things I probably would have done to play this a little bit better is this is last fight, right? So this is high risk, high reward. I would go for the shatter on this McCree, because the McCree fires from left to right. So if he pulls the trigger and you have a teammate that's over here, like this bubbled Zarya, which you wouldn't see this, right? Like you would never see this unless we paused. But it's just a calculated risk. So he would, if he pulled the trigger right away, probably would have hit the Zarya, but you would have probably got him with the shatter, right?
I get it. I got it.
It's just like last fight, there's not much to do. So it's like I get the backing off thing, like you're scared of the high noon, but it leaves your Ana exposed and you end up losing her. So it's like this fight's gonna be a lot more difficult. You lose your McCree, you end up getting killed in the high noon, or not the high noon, by the Hanzo anyways.
Are you serious?
So it's just like, you know, at the end of a fight, there's sometimes you just gotta let it rip. And if you fuck up, you fuck up. But if you don't, then you might save a game.
Okay.
And especially with the longer you wait, you know, the longer you wait, not only that high noon becomes stronger, but the longer you wait, the less opportunity time you have anyways. Actually, let me go back here a couple seconds. I want to see if you do it. Nah, you don't.
Sounds like a personal problem.
So wait, I had a few quick questions. So like,
Sure.
do you think a lot of that was? I mean, obviously, I don't want to blame my teammates, but like, was that me? Like, I obviously could have played better, but should I have gone Winston?
100%. Not a doubt in my
Yeah.
mind.
I felt like useless 90% of the time.
I want to tell you, I can show you the exact moment you became useless. It was right there. This fight. This is where you became. Actually, it might have even been a little before, but right there where you walked out and like walked around, that's where you were useless. Yeah, that's
when we're
because it
just
was
hanging
this
around.
fight. This was after this fight. This was the last fight you did anything in.
Yep.
And then after that, where you were walking around, like that's where you became useless. So it's like this here. This is the whole walk-up sequence. Your team dies. You go around the back, kind of like hanging out. Go for the big flank up top. Fall. Walk up. Don't really do anything here. Just hang out, hang out, hang out, hang out. Walk up. Go for the shatter. Don't get it. Go for the pin. You get pinned. You die. Your team loses.
Mm-hmm.
All this through here. Same thing. You walk up here. Not really doing anything for a while. Killing
Yeah, there's
time,
like the
killing
minute
time.
sequence, not doing anything. I remember that.
Actually, this ended up being a lot longer. This is actually, I can show you the exact time frame. Ready? So, look at the time clock at
140.
Wait for it. Here, right where you backed off. Right, that's where you realize it's not a good idea. 143. Let's go to the next fight. I already know where it is, but I'll show you. Let's go where the next fight is.
Yeah.
And for one
Sounds
more
like a
time,
minute 15.
and graph.
Yeah.
So it's like we went from a minute 50 to 36 seconds without doing anything. You know, and it's not just you, your whole team was here doing that too, right? But if you were Winston back at 150, you could just come up here on high ground. You know, even it's not like, I'm not saying you're going to get a kill, but you're taking space, you're putting some pressure, you're building ult charge. You're doing a lot more than you're doing here. From this point on, not really much gets done. Like almost at anything.
So how do you balance like not like saying like one push not working is like, oh, I got to switch between like, oh, like this scenario where it's like you should have switched. You know, like you don't want to switch too soon without trying it out. Like how do you balance that?
You just said yourself, you know when you're doing something and when you're not doing something.
Yeah.
There's certain points on the map, on different maps, that you know different heroes are better for. So Dorado's second point is known better for being a Winston Diva map, right? If it's like, if you watch any kind of streamers, any kind of Overwatch League, contenders, anything at all of that nature, you see that a lot of times second point is where they switch if they run Reinhardt first point, right? And so it's like you already know, okay, that's typically a good idea to go to because of the high ground. Then on top of that too, you look at your ult charge. So it's like if you have a shatter ready to go in this next fight, it's like, okay, this fight I need to shatter. I'm gonna rip it off. If I die, I die. If I don't die though, I might make a play. If I don't make a play, I switch. Right? So that fight, you understand I need to use this. And on top of that too, then at that point you have no ults going into the next fight. That's not a big trade-off. But then there's the third option of like your team is really quickly rolling and you're like 60-70% to ult and you haven't done very much, right? But your team's still moving forward quickly without you, and you know for a fact that you haven't done much, swap. And so I'd swap that because if your team still has the momentum building, you might be able to make a little bit of more of an impact, right, than you were making before. And that might be enough if somebody else slows down to keep winning you those fights. And if not, you are already 20-30 to ult on your next fight, then you would have been at 0, still doing not much. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of like a checklist in your head that you have to go through. And also here for the beginning, you remember in the beginning I was talking about the fire strike? If you go over to the left here, like this little wall.
Oh, the little crack. Yeah, I'm just lazy.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm just lazy.
Kip, you cannot be lazy. I'm telling you. If you start this game, right? Like this happens all the time on like Hanamura first point. I don't know how I get away with it, but it's the funniest shit. I'll start a Hanamura first point game at 28% ult charge, and then they walk up, and I'm 56 before they've touched the choke. I'm at 56% ult charge. You know what that means? That means 2 fire strikes and 2 swings, and I have your team in a shatter. And that means you come pushing through first fight, and you just get your speed boost to come through, and you get shattered. Your whole team's like, what? And like everyone's pissed. Like they don't know what just happened. Your team generates ults. It's actually the difference between your next level play and where you're at now. I'm not kidding. Like it seriously is. It's the little things. Like
sounds like a first
someone on one of my videos of like, because someone asked me, like, I forget, it was like on like some subreddit. Someone was like, why do you make these videos? Like, you know, there's nothing even about you. Like, why should I listen to you? Pretty much. I was like, fuck you, fine. So I put a little like 10-minute video of just like a typical day of my gameplay. And someone was like, why do you keep swinging at nothing? So like if you're standing right here, right? Like I'm always swinging. I never stop. And it's like, why do you do that? You're not doing anything. It's like, well, one, it's good to build good habits. Second off, I can't tell you how many times I caught a tracer like trying to back out of my backline, just standing there swinging, or even shit, a Sombra walked by and just went and just hit her on the head, and it's just like there's no better feeling in the world than some shit like that. It happens, but like that 0.001% chance of that happening is why I'm at a level higher than you. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm not saying I don't mean you. I'm talking about asshat that I was talking to during that.
No, for sure.
But it's the little habits. Just because you got to a higher level doesn't mean you stop doing the little things. The little things matter at all times. So, the fire strike in the beginning, see, your Junkrat already got a kill for you, right? If you hit tab, I'm sure he's probably like 20 to ult. So it's like, he's already got an ult coming up quick. And that's why Junkrats do that. It's not just because, you know, it burns the cooldown, but on top of that, too, it builds your ult charge pretty quickly. So it's like, you might have Junkrat tire. Oh, that sucks. You might have Junkrat tire ready to go in this next fight. Hold the fuck up. That was nice. What did you just do?
Well, Ryan
that
did
just
a really
sucks. That sucks for him. I don't know why he pinned up like that, but either way, that was a nice play on like a shitty incident. So I always hold this choke. I never go past it as Ryan. Like let the cart come in. So at this point, I'd start walking back up to it. Like I wouldn't let it go any further than this, and you did. So you're kind of doing it right there, like right? Like you're doing pretty good. So right here, I wouldn't even hold shield. Like where he's shooting through, I wouldn't even need to. If someone peeks that hard to get headshotted by the Hanzo, that's their fault.
Yeah, but I feel like I could have prevented it.
Yeah, but it's not your job to prevent it. Like, it's like if you can't have the movement to dodge that, you shouldn't be peeking anyways.
Okay.
And it's like, yeah, like there's certain instances, yeah, you could prevent it, but it's not worth it. Like even they might try to flame you. If they try to flame you, they're wrong. It's like there's a reason they're at the elo they're at.
Right.
It's like that Ana right there. Yeah, if you would walk backwards shield botting, you probably would have saved her because she would have went in front of your shield. But that's not your job. A Widow flanked. Like, it happens.
Right. Okay.
So backing off here isn't... I think this is more of a panic. This is a big shatter, but I'm going to scold you for it. Do you know why?
Because we're down?
Nope. I'll give you one more chance.
Let's see... Oh, because they're going to kill me no matter what? I don't know.
That's not... That might be kind of it too, but that's not the reason. I'll let you watch it one more time. What do you do?
Oh, I should be swinging instead with that bubble?
Nope. Is what you do, you jump shatter.
Oh, jump shatter.
Jump shatter is 2 times slower than a regular shatter. It's a bad habit to have in general. Just in general, it's a terrible habit to build.
Right.
So you missed the pin here, which is not great. So like after a big shatter like this, you want to walk towards them. Like just walk into the team and start swinging. Like you'd hit this Reinhardt, you'd hit this Hanzo at least once, maybe twice, and you could probably finish him with a fire strike. But you kind of go for the fire strike then pin, and don't get really either. So when you shatter pin is not really always the best idea, unless it's the Ana. That's the only fucker that is worth it. And if she's in the way back, that's it. It's the only one that's worth it, and it's if you can't reach her. Because you might be able to walk towards her and fire strike and then start swinging and still kill her. that gives you your pin still back. So if their Reinhardt goes to pin you, you can counterpin him, which it doesn't mean you're going to kill him, obviously. It just means you knock each other down.
Right.
Knocking each other down means that that's one less person that's now trying to kill you and gives your team a tiny bit of extra time to help try to support you. So it's like that extra damage he's getting every swing doesn't exist. So it's like that might be just enough to save you. But the biggest thing with that was 100% the jump shatter. Jump shatters are terrible habits to build because they're so easy to block.
I basically got lucky the fact that you didn't get blocked.
Well, you didn't get lucky. It was because their whole team ran up, right? So like you would have still hit that shatter if you were standing, but it's a bad habit to have because we saw it one time earlier, but it wasn't a big one because it was like you see this little ramp that you're on right here. So like if you jump shatter on that, it's not very it's not a big deal, but that tiny little jump is like 0.0, like it's like a couple milliseconds slower, you know?
Yep.
So it's like that couple milliseconds might be just enough for their Reinhardt to be able to block you.
Yep.
So a situation like this, I know you were trying to like come back to save your team, but like you're not saving them. Like they're dead. At this point, they're dead. Like the second this happens, like they're dead. The only thing you might do is hit them with a fire strike, but at this point, this is where you turn and go here because you're not. It's a fair. That's not your job. You start swinging on this Reinhardt and dealing with this cart, right? Because if you die here, if you die where this cart is, the cart dies here, right? But if you back off here, like I don't know what's gonna happen, obviously, because we paused. You might back off here and survive like 5 or 6 more seconds, then die or survive. Who knows? Let's say you die though, the cart might be here when you die, which means instead of when you die here and the cart gets to here when you respawn, it means you die when it's here. It gets to here where you respawn. You get what I'm saying? It's like once you're losing a couple people and you're close on cart. You might not even die here, but you might be able to do enough damage to build some ult charge because you don't have much. And you might even hold this with the cart, but in the all worst case scenario, you die, they get no push.
Got it.
So it's like we're actually going to see. So you're backing off. And you're going to charge out. He still hits you. I'm surprised he actually committed that.
Oh, why?
Uh-oh. I think I almost perfectly predicted it. So the cart's going to be here.
I didn't say anything.
The cart is here. It won't be that far, actually. It'll probably be like, the cart will be under here, like turning this corner when you probably come back. Which, this is where you go Winston. Because you're 44 to ult. They have a Pharah. They have a Pharah, and you get the high ground.
I hear you. I hear you. It's almost like I made this video just for you.
Seriously. Also, they're running triple DPS, so you can easily jump onto targets. So the second you get healed up here, yeah, this is good. I would actually have walked towards... so, like, this is a good jump. This is a good space-taking jump. I would actually walk around this way. And the reason I do that is because I want to clear from back to front for their Ana. And when you clear from back to front for their Ana, if you catch her and she's, like, let's say back here underneath, like, you know, like, towards that doorway of this building, you might actually... What the fuck? Is my roommate home? No. Okay. Thought I just heard my door. You might just be able to catch somebody that's their Ana that's back here, and you can fall on top of her, bubble, use the edge of your bubble so she can't hit you with cooldowns, and get a free kill. You didn't really need that bubble there. It was, I think, a panic bubble. So if you had bubble this fight right here, you'd probably survive. But you burned it when you dropped. I don't think you actually got shot either when you originally dropped. Yeah, so your bubble's still at 285. You really didn't even get hit.
Yeah, everyone just died.
Oh, it's like, what?
I came here to take you to the store.
Can you wait like at least like 30 minutes?
What?
Can you wait like 30 minutes?
30?
Yeah.
No, I don't have no time for 30 minutes.
Oh, sorry, I can't go then.
You think I came from Canton to here?
Sorry about that. My mom actually just showed up at my house. That's
That's okay.
and she just came up out of nowhere. My fault. I didn't know she was even coming. But let me go back to that. I think you just it's the same thing. You just died here. So if you had bubble, you actually probably would have survived that because you would have actually taken a lot less damage while you were inside. But either way, I think this is the end of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty much over.
Yeah, that sucks. That's unfortunate. I think you probably would have lost that last point anyways because you had 4 of them trapped on you, and you still had everybody die, which really kind of sucks. But yeah. I think either way you're probably losing that at the end. But your attack though, very winnable. Very, very winnable.
Mm-hmm.
I think that like I think that honestly like some of that stuff is actually super fixable, you know? Like just like some of that is gonna be like learned over time with like knowing when to switch and whatnot and not having bad habits of like jump shatters and whatnot. But a lot of that's actually like not that bad. Seriously. But I'm telling you, like, really, the difference between next level and, like, where you're at right now are, like, a lot of the little things. And then once you learn how to do a lot of the little things, it then becomes game sense and learning how to play off the enemy, really. And, like, learning how they play.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hopefully I got you something out of this. 3 things for you, though. I would think it'd be like recognizing when you're useful and useless, because a lot of time was killed here, which, you know, your team, think of it this way, you're at an elo, whatever your team is at. So it's like, this is why I talk about like silvers all the time, when like silvers are trying to help each other out or like flaming each other. It's like, you're all silver. You all suck. Like, like what don't you understand? Yeah. You're not allowed to flame another silver for sucking because you both suck. It's like you're at a level that you're at because for that reason. If you actually want to climb, like you have to learn how the game is played, learn how like what you need to be doing, and do it. And if a game comes along where somebody says like, "Oh, you're an idiot, like you suck, all this shit," like, and you're doing what you think you need to be doing, and you're doing what you thought you've learned, keep doing it because they're probably just a retard. Like in all seriousness, it's what happens. So. Yeah. Even if here, like, your team doesn't tell you to switch, and maybe if you switch, they would have said something because they're running out Moira and whatnot, and that's kind of weird.
Right.
That wouldn't be your fault. Like, you would need to just take the initiative and make the switch because that's what you need to do to win. And it's like, screw anybody else. Do what you need to do to win. Like, realize when you need to be playing at your best. Because if you were more useful here, you probably could win this game. You know?
Right.
Because, like, getting stalled out second point really sucks. And then the little mistakes on defense getting like turned into a bit of a steamroll, but the attack was very winnable. Like, look where you're at right now. It's like you got that's terrible. 4 minutes and 35 seconds to push this. You know, it's like this should be easy clap, but unfortunately it wasn't. 2, no, 2 would be like the little things that we talked about mostly.
Yeah, like I wrote down shield management, like you told me, like those small things, like put down your shield. It's okay if someone dies; it will happen sometimes, but
little things would be more like swing while you're walking and letting like shield down, going for good fire strikes, luring the enemy. And number 3 would definitely be shield because there was a lot of times where you didn't have enough shield to like really take a fight hard. Because like you could really push up and start abusing this Reinhardt and just bullying him, and it's like if they dropped all their abilities into you to really punish you for it, you'd have more than enough shield to back off and be fine. It's like the biggest thing is main tank is you want to just eat all of the enemy team's abilities so your team can do the best they can. Because if you survive after you eat all of their abilities, they're toast. So yeah, hopefully that was good for you. I'm not sure if it was. Hopefully.
Yeah, it was very helpful. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Of course.
Yeah, and it was like I think it's nice being able to interact because then I could like ask questions that maybe weren't answered if you just reviewed it. So it was helpful. Yeah. I know it's not logistically as easy for sure